I'm Rabbi Orlofsky, and this is the Rabbi Orlofsky Show live. Thank you very much. I just realized I forgot my bookcase. Oh, I was going to bring it on the plane, but it wouldn't fit into the overhead compartment. Oh, hey, look at that. Unbelievable. And, of course, I have to thank the American friend of the Rabbi Orlofsky Show, our good friend Ari, who makes our mugs and handles all our things. He's basically the American Mikhail, so Baruch Hashem, we can call him the producer today. I got to go back to my speech. And whether you're watching with our friends over at TorahAnytime or wherever you watch your podcast, oh my gosh, I think we have our friends from TorahAnytime right here. Now, you know, we've done 170 of these, I think, give or take. Oh. It's the 3.5 years, yeah? And I always start with, whether you're watching with our friends over at TorahAnytime, and people are always wondering, who are your friends over at TorahAnytime? And I only have one. So I say friends like we say B'nai Dun when B'nai Dun when there was only one. You shouldn't say Ben Dun, you say B'nai. So our friends over at TorahAnytime, we are so excited to have you. Tremendous Mesiras Nefesh. You drove all the way down from Muncie. We are in beautiful downtown Flatbush. And there are hundreds and hundreds of people circling the block looking for parking.
Yeah, I was one of them.
The only people who are here are people who walked. So, and that walk from Muncie's a killer, so I can tell you.
And before that, Connecticut.
Connecticut, yeah, we were in the Project Inspire convention this past weekend, and that's why I lost my voice, because I was screaming at one of the other panelists. One time, one of my kids did something that was like really over the top, and I was screaming at them, and whenever I scream, I lose my voice. It's just a natural. So I was screaming at my kid, and then I had to go give a shiur. My voice was like this, maybe a little worse. On Chinuch Banim. I said, I lost my voice practicing for the shiur. Okay, so introduce yourself to the world. No, I'm not saying that to be coy. I can't pronounce your last name.
That's funny. So thank you.
Well, that's sort of what we do here.
Thank you, Rabbi. First of all, thank you for inviting me. This is very exciting.
Listen, you're one of the greats. One of the greats of our generation.
It is a tremendous zechut to have you since almost day one, 17 years ago, on TorahAnytime. And for everyone out there, my name is Shimon Kolyakov, and my brother Ruben and I, Baruch Hashem, are the founders of TorahAnytime. And just excited to be here. And yeah, we just came back from an incredible Project Inspire Shabbaton. And I never saw such a lineup like that.
It was ridiculous.
For my YY Jacobson and yourself, of course. And
Yosef Mendelovich. I don't know how many of you remember Yosef Mendelovich. When I was a kid in high school, we were protesting outside of the consulate, the Russian consulate in Glen Cove. We used to go down there. 2, 4, 6, 8, let our people emigrate. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, open up the iron door. And we were like, let our people go. Yeah, we were chanting and screaming. And Yosef Mendelovich was like the refusnik. And he was at Project Inspire. I think he got 20 minutes. So
it's on TorahAnytime. His talk is on TorahAnytime, and many of the lectures from Project Inspire, and not just that convention, but we were invited to many conventions.
Where'd you get this idea from? Because this is unbelievable. How many shiurim, if you had to guesstimate, are on TorahAnytime?
So Baruch Hashem, there's over 170,000 shiurim.
170,000
on TorahAnytime. Yeah.
Okay, that'll last me 1 week, but what do I do the next one?
Every week we're averaging between 600 to 700 shiurim going up.
Every week?
Yeah, from all over the world, in many languages.
Now, you told me once there's a waiting list of rabbis to get on.
It's complicated. It's not just a waiting list. There's over 1,100 people trying to get on right now. And every week it goes up by another 5 to 10 people. And
Trying to get on
it's
to
a big
TorahAnytime.
responsibility. Today everyone has something to say, and give someone a mic.
And yet, you put me on.
We don't know what we were thinking. No, it was the greatest thing, Baruch Hashem. And there were times where you gave a more often shiurim, then you stopped for a while, back and forth. But we're just happy that you have this show, this incredible
It's unbelievable.
Rabbi Orlofsky Show.
I got into trouble when I first started because I said it's a show, it's not a shiur. So someone said, then why are you on Torah Anytime? You should be on Show Anytime.
Right.
I said, take it up with them. I'm not involved.
We'll get there probably eventually.
Eventually
There's a lot
they'll come
going
after
on.
you.
Baruch Hashem.
Wow. So So 170,000 shiurim with hundreds going up every single week.
Right.
So what's involved to put up a shiur? I mean, you don't just take it and plug it in.
Right. I mean, it's a whole operation. Baruch Hashem has sent us incredible, dedicated people, because this can't be a job for anybody. This has to be your passion, your life, because there's no hours to this. There's a lot of technical issues. There's a lot of editing. There's logistics of getting the shiur right, running
Where's
around.
your storage? How do you store that much information?
We rent servers. Many people don't realize we pay for every click. We pay for every download. We pay for every phone call to our hotline.
Well, 1 second. People listen to the shiurim and you pay for it?
Of course.
Wow.
It's like in certain tiers. You can have X amount of people on your website at the same time before it gets to slow down and becomes unusable. So you have to go to the next level. And when that fills up, you have to go to the next tier and to the next tier. And it's very expensive. And then you have the highways. How many people could get on and download at the same time before things really slow down? So Baruch Hashem, this is what we do. But many people think that we're just a website. But over the years, we started as a website. But over the years, we have an app now as well, which we've been working on for the past 2.5 years. Almost $1 million was invested on the new website and app, but the website isn't ready yet. It's about 5 to 6 months away. It's going to be an absolute revolutionary, game-changer website. But the app did come out about 5 months ago.
But what I'm surprised is many times I go on and I'm not on the front page. And a lot of people have asked about that. I'm speaking for the public.
Okay.
Number one guy on TorahAnytime. Most listened to.
You're not going to,
I know it's not me.
This is, you're up there, but
Yeah.
it happens to
You're
be.
number 247, actually.
You're top 10, Baruch Hashem. But it happens to be very interesting. It's not an English-speaking
it's
rabbi.
Rabbi Malach, right?
It's Rabbi Malach. He's a Yiddish-speaking rabbi, a very, very incredible, very talented, and we have a massive Hasidic community who use Torah Anytime, and he happens to get tens of thousands of views per shiur.
I was once at Kechav Tuni.
I remember
If you
that.
ever saw the ad, there's like 50 Streimels and me. And
That's exactly it.
it's like, find Waldo, you know what I mean? So I was obviously standing out, but he did the closing. Now, I don't speak Yiddish because my parents kept it as their secret language. And I went to yeshivas where they either touched into English or into, Hebrew, but I never learned Yiddish, And used to have those people who start talking to me in Yiddish. I said, I don't speak Yiddish. You don't speak Jewish? You're
Right.
Jewish and you don't speak Jewish, So I go there and I was on a panel with this Dayan. And I would answer a question in English, and then he would just go on in Yiddish. You know what I mean? And everybody was like laughing and pointing at me. So I don't know what was happening exactly. I was feeling a little uncomfortable, to tell you the truth. But at the end, Malach got up. I don't speak Yiddish, and I was laughing. He just has such a presentation. Okay, so that's the first guy.
He's actually the Rabbi Orlofsky version of in Yiddish.
Well, you should know that I met somebody many years ago, and they said, David Orlofsky, are you the speaker? So I said, yeah. The funny one? I said, yeah. The one who speaks in Yiddish? I said, no. Yeah, Yiddish. I said, no. Because there's a Ger Chassid called David Orlofsky, who's a speaker. Someone told me he was just nifter, but who would speak humorously in Yiddish. So that's when I realized that David Orlofsky is a position. There's a French David Orlofsky and a Spanish one. He's the Yiddish David Orlofsky. I'm the English one. My real name is Sam Schwartz. But anyway, I just have taken on the position. So it's like, Anyway, so where does it go from here? I mean, this is unbelievable. I mean, you revolutionized Torah learning.
Baruch Hashem.
I got to tell you a story. I was at a hotel for Sukkot, for Shabbos, and I was there with another Rav who was very, very impressed with himself. And we agreed on one thing and we disagreed on one thing. We both agreed that he had a lot of worthwhile things to say. We disagreed whether or not I did. So every time he spoke, he would schmutz me and put me down and insult me, But I always got a kick out of Bali Gaiva, So at one point, so the last question, we were like out of time, the last question. So a woman says, is it okay that I watch Shiurim on Torah Anytime on my phone? I said, for the Rav. The internet is also, Torah Anytime is also, computers also. I don't have a computer in my house, I don't have electricity. I don't have a landline, I go to the well to pump the water. I don't have anything, nothing. Also, he went on for like 15 minutes. Also, everything's also. And then I said, okay, we're out of time, but if anyone's interested, I have a share on the topic on Torah Anytime that you can listen to. So.
That's pretty funny.
Do you get feedback from this?
We do. And we don't promote the use of the internet.
You can call up.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I found that out? I was in Lakewood.
Recently? You found out?
Yeah, I didn't know. Because someone says to me, I said, I try to, count the views. He goes, well, we don't view. A lot of people here call up on the telephone.
Right.
I was like, you don't need to use the internet? He goes, no, I don't want to waste my minutes.
The data.
My data,
yeah. So Baruch Hashem, like I mentioned, we have the website, we have the app, and not now, but already for the past few years, we have a hotline. And this hotline became very, very popular. 2021, we got 2.4 million calls.
Wow.
Just on the hotline, nothing to do with the app or the website. And for the last 3 months of last year, we were averaging around 200,000 minutes a day of people just dialing in.
Calling up.
Yeah, just calling in.
Asking what kind of questions?
No. It's all the shiurim. They listen to the shiurim. All the shiurim that are on Torah Anytime.
They're asking questions on the shiurim?
No, Rabbi, come on.
Sorry about that.
All the shiurim that are on Torah Anytime
170,000
are and growing are available by people simply dialing into the hotline, so they could just listen through a regular phone. That's the hotline. And that's been a tremendous success. We're in the middle We've been in the middle of a major migration to another company that's going to give it a lot more features and easier to find what you're looking for on the hotline. So, I don't know your extension number on it. I have to find out, but you also have your own extension number.
I assume it's 666 because the sign of the devil.
I don't think so, but
anyway.
Baruch Hashem, yeah. So that's doing phenomenal. Yeah. So there's many ways that we spread Torah, Baruch Hashem. And there's many more ways that are coming up. We have this daily dose, which is we started about 3 years ago. We understand that people's attention span is very, very low these days and only getting worse. So we take the best speakers of the world, 2-3 minutes, the most powerful concepts with a very emotional music. We have a very talented musician who many times plays custom music for these clips. And it goes out to over 40,000 people right now and growing.
A minute is not going to work for some speakers.
2-3 minutes.
Because like Rabbi Wine, that's how long it takes him to open up the story. As I was growing up in Chicago.
We have double speed on Torah Anytime.
I remember. If you want to hear more about this year, please go directly to Torah Anytime.
Right. Yeah, and one of the features of the new app is that speed control. So for people who talk fast, like
Pesach Kron.
Rav Gav, I think, is a fast talker. You could slow down.
Rav Gav is not as fast as Pesach Kron. Pesach Kron just is, forget about it.
Oh, sure.
Well, when you listen to him afterwards, you are physically exhausted. You're like, you just went on a roller coaster. And I want to tell you the most unbelievable story. Let me tell you the story. And I think he's in the room. Is he in the room over here? Unbelievable. There he is. Turn on the house lights. He's right over there with that and with that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. The only one who's worse than him is Eitan Feiner. Do you ever listen to Eitan?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's energy.
I spoke at the White Shul once.
Wow.
He introduces me for 3 minutes. And I want to tell him this idea, and it's a Marashah in 3 places, HaKodesh, it's also Yerushalmi over there. Anyway, he went on like this for 3 minutes. And I get up to speak, and I say, you just heard more sources in that introduction than you're going to hear in my whole share. So just telling you that. But I got many more funny stories. So, everything's a trade-off. So you can slow down Pesach Aron, you can speed up Rabbi Wine.
Right. So that's one of the features. But with the daily dose, we're already up to almost 1,200 doses. They go out every day. And many people are saying, hey, I just started recently getting the dose. How do I get all the past doses? So Baruch Hashem, about 3 weeks ago, we launched the Daily Dose app. Which,
Well, if you go to Eretz Yisrael, there's a lot of dosim.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay.
That's what they call the Haredim. They call them dosim. Instead of datiyim, they call them dosim. Anyway.
Okay. So
moving along.
So someone once asked us, can we overdose? I said,
overdose.
I don't want to get into that. I said, it's a sensitive subject with some people, but I would say on this case, maybe, it's okay.
Wow.
Watch a lot of doses. But Baruch Hashem, so yeah, anyone out there watching, make sure you get the 2 new apps in the App Store, the TorahAnytime app, okay? And those of you that are here, I give you permission, do it right now, take out your phones. You don't hear that in the shul too often.
No, especially because nobody here has a smartphone because we believe the internet is awesome.
Right. And get the Daily Dose app as well. Of course, everyone watching on TorahAnytime or wherever you're watching this, right? Is that?
Well, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you to download that app because the Lord apps those that app themselves.
If you have a smartphone and you don't have this app, this is going to be a question after 120 years. So make sure you don't put yourself in that situation.
Right.
Get the TorahAnytime app. Very, very important.
100%. And you put down your other phone and pick up your smartphone to download the app.
Right.
I know you have the phone that you use to get your kids into school. Then you have the other phone.
Yeah, that's common.
Gewaldic. So, guesstimate, how many hours of people watching these 170,000 videos, I'm not counting all the dosim and everything like that, altogether, how many hours of Torah learning has TorahAnytime created? If you had to guess.
So, very conservative number for the last 2 years has been well over 10 million hours per year.
10 million hours of Emunah Torah. Now, to put that into perspective, every word of Torah equals 613 mitzvos. So when we talk about bringing Mashiach, when we talk about the mitzvahs that we need to accomplish, 10 million hours of, and how many words go in an hour? So
Depends who's speaking.
Depends who's speaking. So,
And you could double speed it.
And you can double speed it, so you get even more.
Huge number.
20 million hours. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So we hit 1 million users during the lockdown.
Yes.
That lockdown, I mean, so many people were just living off TorahAnytime.
Right.
And even just at this convention we were at, it just didn't stop. People just came over to us, like with tears in their eyes, just say, thank you so much. We live on TorahAnytime. I sleep with TorahAnytime. I cook with TorahAnytime. I drive with TorahAnytime. And to get that chizuk, it's just incredible because there's so much work involved and, there's ups and downs and challenges.
And it's the kind of thing where somebody would be for sure doing something else.
Oh,
rather than learning Torah.
So many people have told us that they got off the radio. They got off, Netflix. They tell us they get off YouTube. And now they're on TorahAnytime. We even get mail from people saying that they got rid of their smartphone because of Shirim on TorahAnytime.
Right.
And now they dial in on the hotline. So, it's wonderful. And then nothing makes us happier than someone doing whatever they can to get closer to Hashem and improving as a person.
This girl said to her friend, I haven't seen you around, on social media. She says, I got rid of my Instagram. I got rid of my TikTok. I got rid of my Facebook. I got rid of my email. I don't have any social media, any contact. She says, then what do? She says, now I have a life. She says, can I use it in Candy Crush? Anyway, that's a joke, by the way.
Right. Or you could pay $1.99 and buy a life.
That is so sick. Could you imagine spending money to get a life to play for? Gosh, it's crazy. You know how much I've spent? No, I'm just kidding. But anyway.
If you watch a commercial, they give you credit or something. Crazy.
Anyway, so.
But a lot of things are happening. We also have a platform that's not too popular. We just did a test run this past year called Chesed Anytime. This is very, very fascinating.
Yeah.
So it's a WhatsApp status. It's not a group or a broadcast. And people that need a chesed done to them anywhere in the world, they post it. We have a moderator. and people check it to see if they could do that chesed. And for the past year, throughout every week, there's dozens and dozens of cheseds that are connected and being done. And Baruch Hashem, now we're creating an app called Chesed Anytime, where anyone, anywhere in the world, needs something done, whether it's, you need some people together to dance at a simcha where there's not enough people, or something needs to, some medical situation, or whatever it is.
Or to move bookcases?
Yeah, we've got weird things like that as well. It's very interesting, the things that people type in. But Chesed Anytime, it's a project we're working on, which we're very excited about. We're also coming out with our first book, The Daily Dose, Volume 1.
Wow.
We're taking we have a very talented writer, Elon Perchik, who's taking these doses, putting it into a very emotional written format. And this is a very unique book because at the end of every dose, there's going to be a QR code where you can just take out your phone and scan it. It'll take you to either to the dose on video or the full shiur where that dose came from. So absolutely incredible. So there's many other things which I can't really mention right now. They're like underground secret information things we're working on, which is really going to be revolutionary. We got to bring Mashiach. If he's not here yet.
Narcotics anytime.
Oh boy.
That's only to raise funds. Anyway.
So a lot of projects coming up.
I want to thank our friends in Colombia.
And anyone out there in Colombia who wants to sponsor or...
Hey, you know how many countries are watching Torah Anytime? Can you check the countries?
More countries than I knew existed, actually. Over 180 countries use Torah Anytime.
180 countries?
Yes. And
how is that even possible?
I don't know.
Mozambique.
Yeah, we have people who became Jewish. And they said their journey started accidentally by watching a shiur that came up on Google from Torah Anytime.
I've gotten some emails from people who are Christian who listen to the Rabbi Orlofsky Show.
Oh, wow.
And they were so affected, now they're Muslim. Well, you got to do something with your time.
So, yeah.
180 countries, that's impossible. It's impossible. You have the list?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have it on me, but hold on.
No, okay. I would love to get a copy.
We get pictures from classrooms of sometimes, I don't know what the curriculum is, but we get pictures from the back of the class where they're showing Torah Anytime.
Well, it's a no-brainer because you can bring the top speakers of the Torah world into a classroom that these schools couldn't possibly, get that kind of talent available for the children.
Right. So we're working on other things. I want to say it so badly, but I can't because it's very big stuff, is at Hashem. And anyone out there watching or listening who maybe wants to partner with us financially, just email me, Shimon@TorahAnytime, and let's just have a conversation to see if you could be part of the largest distribution of Torah in the history of the world.
No, Shimon can't tell you, but he's working on the Torah Anytime chip to be inserted in your brain. So all you have to do is think of the shiur and just go. Anyway.
The whole shiur is in 1 second.
Isn't it? Anyway.
It's not a bad idea.
See that? I thought that was the new idea. Okay, it's coming up.
No, but big things are happening because, the technology with social media, you got to fight fire with fire.
It's the only way. It's the only way.
It's here to stay. And we just have to be realistic.
I get letters from people who say to me, my kids listen to your shiurim, and it's the only way I can get them away from the other stuff that they're watching because they say that you're more entertaining than the stuff that they're watching. And I think that's what Torah has to be. It has to be, tzatzuim. It's got to be more fun, for everybody to be able to enjoy it.
We have a kids section too, TorahAnytime.com/kids. We have some incredible speakers that is just for that younger crowd. So
yeah.
So we have that as well. We have a lot of women speakers as well. So, ladies, if you could check that out as well. And there's a lot of, and the beauty of the daily dose is that you might get 2-3 minutes of someone you never heard of, but this way you could get introduced to them. If you like them, you could follow them and listen to their full shiur every single week. So there's a lot to do. We have a newsletter as well called the TorahAnytime's.
I was in it.
Yeah, Aron, yes.
Yes, I was.
Yes, the TorahAnytime's, and that goes out.
Get it? TorahAnytime's.
That's okay. We're going to rebrand it. At some point soon.
Yeah, but, didn't get much applause, but okay, what are you going to do? Is it?
Right. And
TorahAnytime's.
TorahAnytime's.
Okay,
you know.
thank you. Thank you very
I
much,
don't blame
sir.
you.
Thank you.
But yeah, people print it and they put it on their shuls all over the world.
Right.
You know, where we have people from the UK, from Australia, from Canada. They just print these newsletters because they want Torah Anytime on Shabbos and Yom Tov, and so they have it.
Right.
So Baruch Hashem, 24/7.
Can you set your computer on a Shabbos clock to watch it? Let's see if I can get you into trouble.
I'm still trying to figure out how we can record on Shabbos.
Yeah, right.
That's when the speakers have full freedom.
That's right.
Say what they got to say.
I know a couple of speakers they have a rule that they say anything, you have to turn off all the recordings and things like that. I wish I had done that a couple of times because I've gotten beaten up a few times. Sometimes people find me controversial.
Oh,
No, I'm serious.
I think I remember that there was something.
Here and there.
Yeah. It's a good sign.
The only time I was invited to the Emunah convention, I said to them, aren't you worried I'm going to say something controversial? So they said, we discussed that. So we're going to give you the women's shal shudis because none of the Gedolim come to that. And we're going to give you the closing because they all leave Motzi Shabbos. I said, I was kidding. I didn't realize there was an actual meeting in the Emunah. How can we invite Orlofsky and minimize the damage? Anyway, I remember that was about 10 years ago. I've never been invited back. But anyway, so...
There's a lot of controversial stuff right now, going on, so...
Can you filter the stuff? I mean, how do you know do you ever get into trouble when it comes out
we get emails.
Sent out something
We get emails with red flags of certain situations. It's very complicated.
It's going to happen. You get so many speakers, there's no way to possibly vet everybody, right. And people can say things that are beyond the pale without even realizing it.
We hear it. We have a lot of people, people watching, and then you get hashkafa involved, and you have different types of speakers and different types of backgrounds, and stuff goes on in the background. But Baruch Hashem, overall, it's okay. But it's a little bit complicated. You try to find that lowest common denominator,
right,
to make everyone happy, which is impossible.
A speaker speaks differently if he's speaking to a from crowd or a non-from crowd. So if a from person's listening to a non-from, speaker, he could find some of the things offensive.
Right.
So
And
you put a label on it?
Not really. But you just reminded me of a project which I could talk about, which we're very excited about. It's coming out soon. It's not a secret that, unfortunately, the majority of Jews in the world are not really affiliated. They don't really know much about Judaism. Maybe.
What do you have time to come up with all these ideas? You're so busy putting up hundreds of shiurim.
Right. Baruch Hashem, we have an incredible team, but...
What's your full staff? How many with volunteers and everything?
No, full-time employees, maybe around 11 right now, and maybe dozens of volunteers all around the world. But now
Mozambique.
Huh?
Nothing. It's just...
Wait. So let me tell you. So we're making a platform. It's called Torah Anyone. It's for anyone at any level. It's going to be designed for not yet religious Jews, not affiliated Jews, for the extreme beginner, and there's going to be very curated content, and that's going to be coming out soon. Because if you take a person who doesn't even know anything about anything,
right,
put them on TorahAnytime, it could be counterproductive.
Right.
It's the wrong person,
For the wrong forum.
So this is a safe zone for someone who's not...
Look, you got some people there who are like deep Kabbalistic thinkers.
Right.
They end up in the children's section,
Right.
Hey kids, let's talk about Simsum. Simsum is Kosh Baruch Hu contracting to allow the world to exist. Anyway, so
that's Torah Anyone. So that's going to be coming out. So all these Baruch Hashem platforms, and again, there's many other things as well that we're working on, and we just feel like obsessed with what we do. We're just possessed and to keep going.
Unbelievable.
And Hashem should continue to give us strength, but we're not satisfied. We feel like we're just getting started. 1 million users, 10 million hours a year is not enough.
Yeah.
It's we feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg.
I can honestly say I'm exhausted just from this conversation. So I think I'm going to go lie down. So now you drove from Connecticut to Muncie. You drove from Muncie to Flatbush. You're driving back to Muncie.
Yeah, you got to get some rest.
No, it's good. Where else do you have time to dream up all these crazy ideas to, spend millions of dollars to get millions of hours of things?
I listened to 3 shiurim on the way here, so we found a whole bunch of doses for the next upcoming weeks. So, it's our life, So
Gewaldig.
Yeah, so just a big shout out to my brother Ruben, Yosef Davis, Moshe Sofer, Mayor Summers, the entire team, all the volunteers, all the users, all the supporters, all the donors, all the fans. You guys have been amazing, and B'ezrat Hashem, the best is yet to come.
So, on the one hand, I wanted to use this opportunity to be able to let everyone know about the wonderful work of TorahAnytime. And then also, I figure that now that they're starring in the podcast, they have to put this on the front page so that everyone gets to see
Very
it.
smart. I love it. You got it. You got it.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, and by the way, many times people ask us, how did you guys start TorahAnytime? You know, my brother and I were two public school kids coming from a communist country. A few months ago, Art Scroll interviewed us, and we went through that whole incredible, inspiring story in detail. So if you go on my name, Shimon Kolyakov, that's my name, by the way. Is that the first time I mentioned it, just in case you were wondering?
Kolyakov?
Yeah.
Because it looks like Kolyakov, because there's an eye in there and stuff.
Kolyakov. Baruch Hashem gave us a hint what we're going to be doing in our life. Yeah, we're Bukharian. I'm from a city called Tashkent in Uzbekistan. My wife is from Samarkand.
I used to vacation there.
I don't think so.
Right after Mozambique.
But yeah, so that's the Art Scroll interview is under my page as well. And also for Parnassa, I'm a distributor for a company called Kangen Water, and that's also under my page, Shimon Kolyakov. Or if you want to go to WaterMS, EMES, waterms.com. Very fascinating information about water. If you're into health in any way at all, you definitely want to look into that.
You could also open a travel agency called TorahAnyTime's.
Okay, that's
Think about it. Think about it. I'm not even going to charge you for that. What do you think? It's yours.
I so wish I could say more, but really good things are happening.
Listen, we'll have you back.
Yes, thank you.
Because,
two.
by the way, this is the first Rabbi Orlofsky Show live in history. And I plan to expand this so that this is in Flatbush, maybe we'll do it in Lakewood, we'll do it in the 5 towns, and I have an entrance into Mozambique. I don't want to go into it now. That's why I'm starting to slowly lay the seeds, because it turns out we've got a big audience there, you know? And most people don't even know about it. Then, after that, Tashkent.
Oh, I don't think you want to go there right now. But also, just a big shout out to Rabbi Orlofsky Show. He's also one of our partners from Mishkan Yecheskel. Yeah, we joined forces about 8 years ago, and that really helped take us to other levels as well.
You have some kind of official relationship with Chazak also?
Chazak, we're two separate organizations, but it's interesting. We're both started by two Bukharian brothers, the Merov brothers of Chazak. And
both with names that are very hard to pronounce.
Kolyakov, really?
No.
Merov.
No, it's like...
Just
what's
the
wrong
OV.
with
Oh, yeah, like
Schwartz?
Orlovskyov.
Orlovsky.
Add the OV and you're Bukharian automatically.
Orlovsky, gosh.
You know, we're both started in 2006 from the same shul in Beit Gavriel community in Queens.
Right.
I think you spoke there a few times.
That's right.
Wonderful. Packed
That's
house.
why I always thought there was some kind of official relationship.
Right, so two Bukharian brothers, same year, same shul. So incredible things are happening. Baruch Hashem.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, they're doing great, by the way. They helped over 1,000 kids get out of public school into yeshiva.
Yeah.
And that's what Chazak is doing. So big shout out to Chazak.
Beautiful. All right. So
Thank
I
you.
feel
Thank
bad.
you.
I don't want to kill you.
No,
No,
thank you.
please. The privilege for us. That's one of the great things of why I'm thinking of doing this is that I have a chance to be able to interview people in America that I wouldn't normally have a chance. You know, I have considered, I don't like Zoom. I can't communicate in Zoom. And
Me
I've
neither.
considered sending people tickets to come to Israel to the Rabbi Orlofsky Show studios. And then I said, are you out of your mind? Where am I getting money for that? But anyhow.
They're lifting the vaccine ban, so it'll be easier.
Yeah, no problem. If they make their way, you know, to, then I can like accost them on the street and quickly throw up a bookcase and, you know, but it's so hard carrying that bookcase around, you know. So. Anyway, thank you so much for coming. A privilege. All right, now we have to do our sponsorship. We don't have to. We want to do our sponsorship. This is the first Rabbi Orlofsky Show live sponsorship ever. This episode is sponsored by the When to Chat on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is an app on phone. Okay. One of the best ways to try and limit Lashon Hara is to learn some Chavetz Chaim Shemiras Halashon. By the way, it is a tremendous segula. The Manchester Rosh Hashiva was very big on this, learning Sefer Chavetz Chaim. It helps both as a shmira for talking or hearing the wrong thing, and brings the awareness that we should avoid this type of speech while clarifying the laws of what is and what is not permissible. The Lashon Hara is a little bit like borer. No one knows borer. Either everything is borer or nothing is borer. So every Shabbos people go, is this borer? And then they do it anyway. So Lashon Hara is sort of the same thing. And it's a big problem because people speak Lashon Hara and we know who they are. And I'm prepared to name names. The plan is to read from the Art School book, Chavetz Chaim, A Daily Companion, and all you have to do is listen. It's unbelievable because people are always going places. Yeah, people are, driving someplace. They have quiet time when they could listen to something. People are doing busy work. Right? If you're washing dishes or you're doing things like that, which does not require a lot of attention, it's a wonderful time to be able to listen to things. There are people who, exercise. And I find that when I'm putting on, all the exercise clothes and, tying my shoes, my exercise shoes, you can listen to a lot of different things. And then you can listen to it when you start taking them off again because you suddenly realize there's not a chance I'm going out there. So all you have to do is listen. It's almost like an audiobook. It should be perfect for the ride to or from work, coffee, chill. I think I read that right because it might be coffee chili, which has a little bit of a bite to it, or before you go to sleep. And I know people used to have a Seder and Sefer Chavetz Chaim before they went to sleep. And yet the Yetzer Hara for this is so tremendous. I can't tell you how many times people have started the cycle and have never finished. And they each time they move a little further, and basically they know all of the klalas, the three klalas in the introduction, and then they start to slow down. It's sent out via WhatsApp every day, and each day will consist of about 2 pages, taking an average of about 3 minutes. Yeah, give us 3 minutes and we'll give you the world to come. With taking Friday and Sunday off, we should still finish the book at least twice a year. Now, he doesn't say it here, but I'm guessing also Shabbos. That's just me. We are proud to be finishing our first time through. It's unbelievable. It's Chazik people in the Sefer Chavetz Chaim. Looking forward to be starting the next book anew and relaunching on Tuesday, March 8th. It's right around the corner. Thank you. Thank you very much for March. Anyway, for more info to sign up, you go to WhatsApp 718-288-4298 and join us on our quest for life. Mi haish. I really can't sing. Also, I'm hoarse. That's 718-288-4298. Gewaldig. Okay. So, we used a lot of time on that, but it was very worthwhile. Yeah, I have to say, I mentioned it in the interview, but the concept for this is, and I get such tremendous response from it, there is nothing like this. There are straight shiurim, and who wants to listen to that? 10 million people? It's like, what's that? It's like, whereas I have about 10,000, so it just shows you that there are some discerning individuals out there. But, it's to be able to, listen to Torah in an enjoyable way. And it's amazing how many people this idea resonates with. And I have looked around. I haven't found anything that's like this. It's really unique. Part of that is the fact because I am unique. Yeah? Because everybody is unique just like everybody else. I have to work on that one. Anyway. People think Michael edits out when I say stupid things. He doesn't. The only thing he edits out is when I go, and I went to Simi, where did I go? Oh, okay. So he takes that out. That's about it. Or like when I go into one of my sneezing fits, because I can sneeze like 8 times in a row, you know. You know when they say that if you sneeze 7 times, Mashiach will come? Nope, doesn't work. But anyway, so it's such a wonderful thing to be able to do. And I really feel like we have a community. There's really a special thing. And, it's a great thing for, to be able to do this. So we try to do things that are a little different, a little unusual, and to be able to talk about different things and topics and things that everyone speaks to. Oh, and apparently we are up to the question and answer portion of our program. No, there's not a table there. Anyway. Okay, so like I say, these are some questions that have been submitted. I don't mind if people want to ask questions directly, you want to submit it, whatever it is. First question is, how much longer is this going to go on for? I'm double parked. Okay. It's a good question. Is your name really Orlofsky or is it Sam Schwartz? No, it really is. When are you going to Mozambique? That's Mozambique. Thank you very much. Okay, seriously. Just freeze in place. It's a small world after all. I really want to thank everybody for coming. This is so incredibly meaningful. Because you're the groundbreakers. You're trailblazers. You're the first people. You're the Nachshman. I mean, I'm running out of examples. Yes, sir, he showed him. No, we got more than 10. So, Chamishim, we showed him. I don't know how many people are here. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not 2, not 3, no. You know why there are 15 people in a foolish person's minyan? You can't say any stereotypes anymore, so I'm trying to find the right thing. Because, they go to count. Hoshia ez hamecha, uvarech ez nacho esecha, oreim, 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 oreim. It comes out to 15 that way, so I guess, So, you notice how when you start counting after a while, you lose count and you just pretend? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, it must be about 50 people here. Anyway, but they tell a story that, the Hamodia, in the old days, when, it was only the English, the Hebrew one, and they didn't have like the highest journalistic standards like they do today. So they wrote, there was a levaya and there were, 100 people there. So someone sees the guy, he says, what are you talking about? I was there was only 50 people there. He says, there were 50 people there? I would have written 300. Okay. So this is the first question, official question. The Torah often says that a place is called Ad Hayom Hazeh. It was named this Ad Hayom Hazeh. Oh, I got it. Considering that many of these places go by other names, what is Ad Hayom Hazeh? Excellent question. It's in the time when the Torah was being written. So it's not, unless there's an unusual thing where it's clear that it's L'asad Lavai. So Ad Hayom Hazeh means till now when the Torah was being written, but not necessarily forever. Yeah. That's why it says, for example, when you see that the Torah is being presented from Matan Torah's point of view. That's why, for example, it mentions, in Bereshis, Eretz Kush. Rashi says there was no Eretz Kush. There was no Kush. None of these things existed, or, Emek Amalek or certain other things. These people didn't exist. So the idea is that the Torah is using the terminology at the time of Matan Torah of the names that it would have. Why is being Sovel when people embarrass you? one of the Memches Kinyanei Torah. Listen, this question is close to my heart. Everyone gets suffering. Everyone gets suffering for whatever reason, right? Either because it's there to help us grow, or it's there because we have to, to encourage us to straighten out our lives. And people get all kinds of suffering. And trust me, it is so terrible. At the Project Inspire convention, I was talking with this young man who's in a wheelchair, and he's got a breathing tube hooked up into his throat. And, he's kind of, it's one of these electric ones, things beep and go off. It's so difficult. And he says to me, how am I supposed to handle, these tzaras? And I started to answer it, and he says, what I mean is, my mother just died last year, and she was really helping me out with everything, and I'm not sure exactly how to deal with that. It's like, wow, what a peckle. And then I speak to another couple, and this kid went off the derech, and this kid has, learning disabilities, is getting thrown out of school, and this one has this illness, and this one has that thing, and, all kinds of stuff are going on, and everybody has their tzaras. And when you're in my line of work and you speak for different organizations, so you speak to an organization for a time of people who are married 20 years, never had children. And I give shiurim for older singles, who are in their 40s and never found a shidduch. And you give shiurim for kids who have, serious handicaps, or special needs children. You speak to organizations, people went off the derech. There's an organization, a woman reached out to me, of parents whose married children stopped talking to them. And, I said, well, how big could it be? Because we have 1,000 people, 1,000 families parents who are going through this, and it's like heartbreaking. A friend of mine, he tells me that his brother, he supported his kids through kollel, and afterwards, paid everything. He came back and he told him he wanted to go to law school, and he wanted him to pay for it. And he wanted to go to NYU. And he says, look, I can't afford NYU, but I'll pay for a state school. So they stopped talking to him. He hasn't seen his grandchildren, because he wouldn't pay for the law school that he wanted after he had supported him in kollel for 6 years. Anyway, so talk to a parent who's going through that, and financial problems. There are people who literally can't put food on the table. I mean, terrible things, and all kinds of terrible tzaras. I can go on and on, illnesses and, things. I don't know what's the worst. I don't know how you choose the worst. The answer is the Kodesh Baruch Hu is going to send you the tzaras that he thinks you can handle. He's going to send it your way. The Zohar Kodesh says, you picked this up in Shemayim. Yeah. And you picked the life that you were going to get. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, you have the certain ability to deal with whatever it is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends you away. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, thank God I'm able to make a living. Thank God my children are healthy. Baruch Hashem, things are going pretty well. What he sends me is constant humiliation. Constant humiliation. All kinds of different things. It's amazing. And it's really the best at tzara. If you're gonna be embarrassed, so then, if you're gonna have tzaras, let that be the tzaras, right? Let people make fun of you. Because at the end of the day, all that's hurt is your pride. And all that you suffer is, some embarrassment, some humiliation. And it's really, if you have to go through tzaras, the best one. Which does not answer your question. So why is it Kinyanei Torah? Because ain't a bai shalomed. You cannot be embarrassed if you get, my friend Rabbi Brown, he learned by Rav Moshe Shapiro for over 20 years. And I remember his daughter was getting married. He shows up at the shiur. And Moshe says, what are you doing here? He says, my daughter's getting married. I won't miss the wedding. He says, but don't you have anything to do? He says, this is my chiyas. This is where I get it from. So he says, how did I get started with Rabbi Shapiro? He says, I went to him and I asked him some kashas. And he put me in my place. He was very tough on me. Rabbi Moshe had a shita like that. He was very tough on everyone except for me. He always talked nicely to me because he knew I was a baby and I would cry, So he starts giving me a very hard time. And Ray Brown says to him, okay, yell at me, call me names, just answer my questions. And that's such an incredible thing to have that kind of self-confidence and ability to do it. And let's face it, learning takes a lot of confidence. It's very hard. You open up a daf Gemara and it's all in Aramaic and there's no punctuation and, there's no vocalization and, you don't even know where it stops, where it starts, what the words, how fit them together. It takes a lot of confidence to jump into the Yam HaTalmud, to go swimming in the ocean. And so if you're going to get upset when people insult you, it's going to be really hard. That's what I would say. Okay. Why is the Aron in gold if, when the Kohen Gadol removes all gold when doing the avoda on Yom Kippur? Isn't it counterproductive? So what are we trying to accomplish? Because the Aron never did the Chet HaEgel. People did. You ever hear that one? Guns don't kill, people kill, yeah? Gold didn't do the Avera, people did. And they used the gold in the wrong way. And that's in fact what Moshe Rabbeinu says. He says, you gave them all this gold, that's why it happened. But that's not an accurate thing if the thing itself, the Etzem Metzias, is gold. Yeah? The Chazal explain, Kesef is from the Lashon of Nichsafa, of desire. You use money to buy what you want. But gold is the goal. Zehav, this you have. So the gold is the highest thing that Hashem created for that Kedusha. It's holding the Aron, it's holding the Luchos, it's in the Kosher Kedoshim. It didn't do anything wrong. We did. So we walk into the Kosher Kedoshim and we're wearing the gold that we misused. That works out poorly, but not inside of the Kosher Kedoshim. Yeah? Okay. Who created Hashem? Ob. Doesn't everything have a beginning point? Okay, this is a mind-bending question. Yeah, because as I once heard Dr. Gerald Schroeder, who's a very smart person, he has 2 PhDs, one in oceanography and one in, I think, nuclear physics. He was teaching in Discovery. In fact, my brother-in-law, Rabbi Lichtman, was working there. And he says to him, could you make me, 20 copies? I don't know how to use a copy machine. He says, I've waited my whole life to say this. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. So he's a very smart guy. And he says, look, why can't a monkey design a computer chip? Because he doesn't have enough synapses in his brain. We have a lot more. But we don't have enough synapses to grasp infinity. So we are finite beings and we are in a finite world. As such, our ability to understand infinity is limited. I'll give you an example. There's something called infinite mathematics. What does that mean? Let's see if you remember this from high school. How many points are there between 2 and 3? Infinite. Good. Notice all the girls answered. Yeah? How many points between 3 and 4? Notice how all the guys copied what the girls did. How many points are there between 2 and 4? 2 times infinity. Our concept of infinity is so finite that we can multiply infinities. But real infinity with a capital I, Einstein told us in the theory of relativity that that time, space, and matter are interrelated. You can't have one without the other. So the entire universe has space, time, and matter. What's outside of the universe? A place where there's no time, no space, and no matter. You can't even wrap your head around it. And that's what the Mishnah in Chagiga means when it asks. Anyone who says, what was before, what was after, what's above, and what's below, it'll drive you crazy. You'll go insane. You cannot grasp infinity. It's too big for you. And that's why Arba Nichnasu Paradise, one went crazy. It's just too much. It means that it's not worthwhile. And if you go down that rabbit hole, you'll never find your way back. And you'll go crazy, or you'll die, or you'll become an apikaris. It's like, unless you're Rabbi Akiva, But to go down into a certain sense of infinity, it's beyond the ability of an average person to be able to do. Not an average person, basically every person. So you have to try to understand what infinity is. So if the world is finite, by definition, it had to come from someplace, because that's the definition of finite. It has a beginning. Or as I once heard Dr. Schroeder say, the Big Bang, when they came up with the concept of the Big Bang, people, suddenly said, oh, you don't need God, you need the Big Bang. The Big Bang is the biggest kash on science, because they always said the universe was, is, and will be. It's eternal and infinite. So I don't need God, the universe is. Suddenly it turns out, not so much. The universe is finite. At some point it began, and it has a beginning. And he says science, the Big Bang, finally was mechaven to the first three words in the Bible, in the beginning. That's a terrible kash on science. And where did it come from then? Now you have to ask the question that Avram Avinu asked. Where did it come from? And Dr. Schroeder said he once posted on this site that all the major cosmologists, those are people who study cosmology, the creation of the world. Yeah, not the people who study makeup. Anyway, those are the cosmeticians. But anyway, so these like the people who mix up the words for the study of language and the study of bugs. They're very close. So anyway, and it's a problem if you mix these things up. Like the fellow, the agnostic, insomniac, dyslexic. Not easy to say. Who used to lay awake at night pondering the existence of dog. Anyway. So he put up on the site, where did the matter come from for the Big Bang? Because if it was there and it takes X amount of time for it to have exploded, then it would have exploded. What does that mean? And the answer he received was, if you can answer that question, we'll get you a Nobel Prize. Now, you don't have to get a Nobel Prize. You don't need that to get a Nobel Prize. You could just be President Obama. But I'm just saying, he got a Nobel Prize for getting elected. He was even like, why? Trump only made peace in about 17 countries, never started any conflicts. You know what I mean? He doesn't get a Nobel Prize. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so if there's something that's finite, the only place that can come from is something infinite. And something infinite, by definition, has no beginning. But how could something exist without a beginning? It's infinite. What does that mean? You don't have enough synapses, you monkey. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. So there's no way we can grab. We know it's true, but I don't know how to wrap my head around infinity. So the answer is, no one made Hashem. He was, is, and will be. What we call the universe is this tiny, tiny, tiny little speck, and Hashem is infinite, beyond everything. And logically, the only place that something finite can come from is something infinite. And that is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So it's a mind-bending kind of an answer. What is the halacha to drink on Purim in Aramaic? Well, in Mozambique, the mitzvah is different. But, it's like Groucho Marx once said, he shot this elephant, he was trying to remove the tusks, but they're very deeply embedded. He said, of course, in Alabama, the Tuscaloosa. There's a city called Tuscaloosa in Alabama. Anyway, so Chayev inish lebesume bepuria adelo yoda ben Arahaman and Baruch Mordechai. A person is chayev to drink till he doesn't know the difference between Baruch Mordechai and Arahaman, which the Ber Hetev says Baruch Mordechai in Gematria is the same gematria as Arahaman. You have to drink enough until you can't do the gematria. For most people, that's a sip. Because they can't figure it out when they're sober. Okay. Those are the last of my cards. Oh, wait, there's a 3 of hearts. Just kidding. Anyway, I just, all good things have to come to an end, and so does this. But anyway. I remember somebody said to me before this trip, when will you be gone? I said, I hope not for a long time. We have another one. I'm going to read this in a second. But first, it's amazing how, people listen to this podcast and I'm eyeing into it. Every now and then I get corrections. You said this, it was really that, it was this and that, and I appreciate that, So I mixed up a quote in the past. I don't remember exactly where I've said it, but I've said it more than once. Yeah, and that is, I always said that John F. Kennedy said this quote. Some men see things as they are and ask why. I dream of things that never were and ask why not. So it was Robert Kennedy. Someone came up to me at the convention and downloaded this. And I was like, and I read it, I said, that's very nice. She says, no, take it with you. So I have a lot of people always out there trying to help me. I am a work in progress, and Baruch Hashem, it's a group effort, so, it takes a village. We have one last card here. Can you please give us and all of Klal Yisrael a Kohen's bracha? By the way, I'm a Kohen. Yeah, so is my dad. Thank you very much. And my dad was very, very proud of it. He always, on everything, he always used to put the Kohanim's hands, duchening, and he had a tremendous sense of mission because of that, which was very interesting. So, of course, I'm a Kohen, which is why I scream at people and lose my voice. So, if we've learned anything this evening, so I will give you my bracha, but first I'll give you my mother's bracha. This is when I used to call her before Rosh Hashanah. This is the bracha she would always give me. She says, son, I wish for you everything you wish for yourself. And that's a beautiful bracha. The problem is, what do you do with someone who has no imagination? Now, I didn't know this because I stopped reading comics like back in the 1960s, but evidently there's this running gag in the comics that Green Lantern has this power ring that could create anything, but he never thinks up anything, impressive because he's just not that creative. So you really should give that to someone with a tremendous imagination. So, kind of a limitation. So the problem with that bracha is, I wish you everything you wish for yourself. That only helps if you got the imagination to think of it. There was one time that I bought, when the Powerball went up to 640 million, I bought a Powerball. Less than 500 million, it's not even worth my time. You understand? what would I do with 30 million? I mean, it's not even, So I bought one, and then my son bought one. And I said, what are you wasting your time with? I'm going to win. He said, why would you win? What would you do with $640 million? Before I could answer, he said, fine, you'll buy all your kids' apartments and all of them cars. Now what? I said, well, I'd fix up my apartment. He says, that's as best as you can go. Not even I'll buy myself an estate. I'll get myself a house. I'll fix the apartment. You know what I mean? Maybe the leak, or maybe expand the living room, or maybe paint. You know what I mean? I still haven't put the pictures back up since the last time we paint. Because every time we paint, it gets all chipped and dirty. And then we say, why should we put up the pictures? We have to paint again anyway. And then we don't put up the pictures, and we haven't put up the pictures in about 15 years or so. But I have them all online. You can go to TorahAnytime.com and... So that's not my bracha, that's my mother's bracha. It's a beautiful mother's bracha. I'll tell you what my bracha is that I give to people, and I always warn them beforehand that you should be very careful with this bracha because it's not an easy bracha. The bracha I give people who I think can handle it is, Hashem should give you the ability to know what you're supposed to do in this world and the courage to follow it. Because you should know there are people who have a pretty good idea what they're supposed to be doing in this world, and it's too hard. And so instead of living the life that they want, they live the life that happens. And that's the bracha that I would share with, obviously, anyone who came out here tonight. You're part of the crazies, and I love you, and we're all in this together, and I speak for you, that's all. I'm just your voice because you're not as hoarse as I am. So anyway, but that's the idea. The idea is that we want to make ourselves into the best people that we can become. And someone said to me, you're the one who gives the message that used to be called Chasidus. You're the one who gives the message that every person has tremendous koiches and every person can do great things in this world, and to try to encourage us to do it. And I truly believe that that's the best bracha. So somebody asked me once, what do you want him to say at your funeral? I said, look, he's moving. I love that line. But anyway, but if not that, if I could write a hesped, it would be, he tried. He tried, that's all. That's the best that any of us can do. If we can turn around at the end and say, I tried. I'm not even saying trying our best. The Klosenberger, he once asked one of his Hasidim to do something, and he says, Rebbe, I'll try my best. He says, don't say that. You don't know what your best is. He says, I was in one of the camps, and this Nazi decided he wanted to kill me. No, they didn't know he was a Rebbe, because if you were a Rebbe or a Rav, they killed you right away. They pointed to a rock, and they said, move that rock. 10 people couldn't move that rock. But I moved that rock because I knew otherwise he would shoot me. So when you say the best I can do, you don't know what the best is that you can do. Yeah? So I'm not saying you have to do your best. You just have to try. Every day we have to get up in the morning and we have to say, this is an opportunity. I have to do the best I can with this day. All I have is this day. You wake up in the morning and you wash Netilas Yadayim. You know why? Because a new kli, you put it in the mikveh. And that's what you do when you wash your hands. Yeah, you're starting out as a brand new being. Yesterday is a canceled check, and tomorrow is a promissory note. All you have is today, spend it. Or, you know where that came from? Art Raymond on the Simcha, if you're old enough to remember that. Yesterday is history, and tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Thank you. That's from the Kung Fu Panda. Anyway, okay, so that's it for this show, this live show. If you want to find out more about the show, you can go to my website, RabbiOrlofsky.com. You could download other shiurim, the songs. You have pictures of me. You know, I think I have the rabbinical pose, the Rosh Hashiva look. That one, whatever you want. And, you can leave a comment, you can email me. And every now and then I get a burst of inspiration. I answer like 50 emails, and someone says, I appreciate the advice, but, they already took away my house, so thanks for nothing anyway. But I do the best I can. What can I do? It takes me, to answer an easy email, it's easy, but to answer a thoughtful email takes time. I have to really, have enough Yish V'das to be able to do that, So I will answer your emails, leave me an email, make a comment. You can sponsor an episode like our friends over the When to Chat about Shemiras Halashon. And that's it for this show. The next one will be in 3 months in Mozambique, if you can make it. That's it. I am Rabbi Orlofsky, and this has been the Rabbi Orlofsky Show Live.
It's the Rabbi Orlofsky Show. Torah and Simcha, ready to go. It's the Rabbi Orlofsky Show. Knowledge and wisdom will help you grow. Lots of fun in every episode, and we don't have to rhyme. No, we don't. It's the Rabbi Orlofsky Show on RabbiOrlofsky.com. Torah, anytime, YouTube, and more. It's the Rabbi Orlofsky Show. Torah and Simcha, ready to go. It's the Rabbi Orlofsky Show. Till next time, till we meet again. It's the Rabbi Orlofsky Show. It's the Rabbi Orlofsky Show. It's the Rabbi Orlofsky Show.